Hello, welcome back to this next episode, and I want to really start getting the wiring completed now on the layout. And one of the things that I have noticed, as I probably don't have enough cable to do this at the moment, so I'm going to need to order some of that. Plenty of solder, plenty of copper strip for my bus bar. I will be putting the bus bar underneath as per normal, but I did do this once where I actually put it on the top of the layout. It's quite a few years back now, because I couldn't keep crawling underneath on that one, and I put it on the top and then just wired straight across to it, and then covered it with textures and or ballast. So I think it was quite close, and it was on an N-gauge one a long time ago, and I actually did that way round. I used a thinner tape than this, so but that worked quite nicely. So I'm really going to make a good start. So I've got to get all my holes drilled, and I think that's really where I'm going to need to be. So every single piece of track will need soldering to the DCC bus, but I'm going to do 3 DCC buses on this one, and probably why? Well, I want to run DC as well as DCC, so I'm going to have an outer, inner, and one all for the fiddle yard and sidings, and then separate all these, so I can then run one with DCC and one with analog. It makes it a lot more complicated, the wiring. That is the downside to this, because normally I could just wire everything to one single bus and that would be it. So, but I'm going to really make a start on getting all these holes drilled now, so let's get that underway. Right, let me start getting the holes all drilled for the wires. And what I like to do is make sure I've got every single piece of track and wired to the DCC bus. I'm just going to double check the thickness of the cable that I'm going to be using quite a good thick cable. Can't remember what gauge that I've got. I'll put that in the description, and this will get hidden. I tend to put red and black. You don't really need to use red and black, but it's not DC, but I could run DC on it, so I tend to always use red and black because it's a lot easier. If you've used all of one colour, you get in a right mess underneath and you're thinking, well, have I got it right? And then you end up with a short, and it really does frustrate you. So, but once I've done the weathering and the ballasting, you won't see any of this wire, and some of it's going to be hidden, so I'm not going to be ballasting the back. So I'm not interested in that because it's going to be hidden out of the view. Well, let me carry on with getting all these holes drilled, and then come back and start getting some of this wiring done. Well, I've split all the boards. This is actually my second board that I'm working on at the moment, and there was some comments before I start doing any wiring. I've not done any checking, so I just put this on ohms. You know, if I get a short, I get 0 ohms, so I'm pretty confident I've got nothing short. I'm going to check all the other bits on there anyway, but that was a good tip, because if I hadn't cut all the way underneath this, got solder running down and on each side, that would have definitely caused a short. But I did cut a groove in there before I glued them down, and cutting the piece out there is absolutely perfect. So I've drilled all my holes. I was just started that earlier. Soldering iron. I'm going to have this actually quite hot. I want it sort of getting up to 480, something like that. It's slowly getting there at the moment. What are we on? 200. Warms up quite quick, this iron. I think it was only about £10 from Amazon. Oh, and talking about that, just while this gets up to temperature. Now, where did I put those? Right, so connecting the boards together, I decided to use DIN sockets and DIN plugs. And I don't know whether to put them on the front or the back. Obviously on the back it's going to hide everything, but it's then going to stick out about that far from the wall, which isn't a bad thing, but that would work. So I don't know whether to put them on the front as well as the back, and then I've got a choice. Obviously I'm going to need to buy more if I'm going to do that, and there's a lot more wiring involved. I'm going to show you the first board. In fact, that soldering iron has now got up to 480. Don't know why you need to see that, but I just thought you might want to. Now the first board, as you can see, we've got all the wire. Now I've still got to drill a hole through here to get that connected to this, and this actually took 2 hours, and you wouldn't have thought it would have taken that long. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as long as this, but got pretty good soldering joints all around. They should be quite well hidden. Every piece of track has got a dropper attached, and I'm just going to really carry on with the other 3 boards now, and then I can do some track cleaning and some testing. Normally what I do is, while my iron's warming up, I get all my wires roughly to a set length. Then I chop loads of them off once it's underneath. So these are all my cut-offs from yesterday. So I think I'm going to use the majority of these. I think these are going to be pretty long. And it works quite well if you just use your side cutters like that. Well, not side cutters, strippers, wire strippers. I'm getting through solder as well. I'm probably going to have to order some more of that. But normally what I do is cut all my wires, tin them, prepare them, chop them down to the right size, and then solder them onto the track. I've been using outside track as red, inside as black. So this one will have one DCC bus, second DCC bus, that's why there's that much copper on that other board, and then a third DCC bus for on the inside sidings. Now, sort of get my soldering joints as good as possible. So, and the track is actually quite good at actually taking the solder, but my eyesight needs a little bit of help. So I've been using a magnifying glass, so sort of, I haven't got it at the moment, so this one is probably going to be the worst bit of soldering. There's just a quick tin of the rail. I put them on trestles so I can easily just feed the wires down, and actually making a mistake already, that would have been a disaster, because this is inside and this needs to be black, and I've just made a straightforward mistake there by not cutting enough of the sleeve off, so it means that it's not going to be twisted very well now. Oh well, every time I do something and it goes on camera, it goes not wrong but not perfect, and I thought I'd got a bit of solder on the top of the rail then. Right, there we go. Don't need to tin the iron because there's absolutely loads of solder on it already. And there's plenty on the rail, plenty on the wire, and I'm a little bit proud on that one. So I'm going to have to tidy that one up afterwards, but I think I do need my little helping hands magnifier. So before I mess any more up on the board, I'm going to use that and come back and I'll show you all the boards wired. Now this is easily the most tricky one to get my bus down, because I've got a huge amount of wiring from all the tracks. I've got tracks that go, so this is going to be a tricky one to, so I think the best thing I can do is have that one come in like that for the fiddle yard, and then I'll wire the two main DCC buses for each track. I'm just going to roughly get those to about the right length initially. So what I do have to do on all this is I wire in 3 different DCC buses, and the reason behind that is because if I want to run DC and a DCC, or even 3 types of DC locos, I can do. Hopefully I can get all this right. All the other boards are actually fairly straightforward. I've left not unintentionally actually, but I seem to have left the most difficult one to wire up. Not too worried if it goes over that paper. It's almost impossible to get these paper labels off. So, but this sticks really well, this copper track. Yeah. Let's just bring the camera around a little bit more. So that just saying, it really does stick well, this copper tape, and it's sometimes a bit tricky getting it off the backing. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go down the edge of the board. Might be this back way, might be the front way, I'm not sure yet. Oops. It just rips very easily though, but that's not actually a major problem, because I can just overlap that. What I do need is a slight gap there so I can put the tracks down, but if I've damaged anything I just rub a bit of solder over the joint anyway. This has got conductive on both sides and conductive glue, but I prefer to actually run it along with the soldering iron. So let me struggle getting the rest of this tape in. I think that's going to go there like that, and then I'll get the next one in, and then I'm going to have to run another set all the way along here for the second DCC bus, and then I need to run one for the fill yard, so that's going to be sort of roughly sitting round about there, and then it needs to go all the way up to the other end of the board where all the tracks are, at the back of the layout. So let me get all this done, and we'll come back and see if I've actually got it to how I want it. Right, that is all the wiring done. Just a little bit of tidying up, missed those little bits there. I think I've got everything on the right bus. It's quite complex, this one. So that's the outer track, inner track and fill yard. So I can then control them on 3 different controllers if I want to. That is the plan. It'd be a lot easier to wire it as one DCC bus, but the only thing I've got left to do now is join the boards together with a connector. So I need to drill some holes in the boards for that, and I've got those D connectors to use. Board 1 all wired, nice neat job. Board 2, which you saw me just finish wiring not that long ago, and it's as neat as I can get it. There's a lot of wires on that board. And we have board 3, and I think that was the first one I actually started wiring, funny enough. So but that seems to have turned out all right. And then we have board 4. That's probably the simplest one, because there's no points on that yet, but this will have, I don't know what happened there, just a board moving by itself, but we'll have part of the traction maintenance depot on this one. So I will do a lot more wiring, but this one's only got 2 buses on it, but it will have a 3rd bus eventually. Right, this is all back together now. I still need to get it powered up. I'm going to get these fitted, and these are what size drill bit do I need for these? 15mm. And these are just a 6-way, so it's just going to be the DCC bus running on these. I've got plenty, but I'm thinking, do I put them on the front? I'm thinking yes, because majority of the time that's going to be up against the wall, and it's going to then stick out another inch from the wall, or another 2 inches. You've got just going to have that sticking out, and then a cable. Might look a bit ugly at the front, I don't know. There is a possibility of just hanging them from underneath, so but I don't really like that, because I don't like cables all hanging down. But I can put them at the front, and I can put ones at the back, and then I can just use the jumper cables either at the front or at the back, however you want, and it'll just have a DIN socket at the front. Won't look odd. So you just see an extra DIN socket next to the cable, next to the toggles. I'm also going to put my power connectors all on here, 3 power connectors, and then I can put a control box on this corner if I want to, and then they're all in one place, so when I come to do the points, so I don't have to get up, move the opposite side to the layout like I did before, and I think that would be ideal. So I'm going to get these all drilled now, so I'm going to have to take the boards off, get them each one drilled, and then pop them back on and get them wired. I've marked my hole, and there was a few tips last time. You know, am I going to give myself enough space there? Yes. And it was saying put a piece of wood behind it, but I actually found a different way of doing that, so I'll just show you. Just as I see the tip of the drill coming out there, I come back around the other side and just finish it off on this side. And why did it go wrong on camera? I've just done a load of those holes when I was doing the holes through the boards. But now I've got the drill bit stuck. But as you can see, virtually no splintering on either side. It's actually, if I just show you the ones I did here, you'll see that it actually came out perfect. So that one there, pretty good, but probably the worst one, which has to be when I'm going to do it on camera. But anyway, I'm going to just get all these drilled out, all these boards, and we'll come back. Well, I've got a hole drilled in both sides of the board. I've got my DIN socket there. I'm using just a I think it's a 20 gauge, and this is like a nice big reel. I've cut it to sort of length, so I can then just wire it to the bus and then straight out. And I'm going to need to do the same on the other socket on the other board, but I need to make sure all these are identical and all. So I'm going to do the first one and then take a photograph of it as well, but also label each one of these wires with a bit of masking tape saying 1, 2 and 3. And then 1 would be the outside, 2 inside and 3 the fiddle yard. And I seem to have brought everything with me apart from my side cutters, so excuse me while I just go and fetch those. No, I've got my side cutters. It's the wire strippers. Okay, start again. Well, not quite. And I got me helping hands on this, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get the magnifying glass working at the same time. As it's a really old, cheap, well, I don't think it's that cheap at the time, but I got it off a car boot sale, you know. I think it was about 50p, but it was probably only about £5 to buy. So I've got everything that I need apart from solder now. So excuse me while I go and fetch that. I think in the first part of the video I was saying I bought plenty of solder and everything like that, but I've used 2 of these reels already, I bought some more bigger reels, and a good job they turned up in time. So where's my wire gone? There we are. And it was really good job that they did turn up, because I do actually need them. So just make sure my wires are tinned. Right, I'm going to then decide on which ones I'm going to use. That's number one. What they look like. Could have done better. I can hardly see through that magnifying glass, and it's just the complete wrong angle for these. I think it might be easier to do it by just put it on the arm, and then yeah, a lot easier. It was just completely the wrong angle. I was trying to see through on that magnifying glass, and it was just so blurred. But I thought, I'll try and do it, it'll work. Right, so we've got that one done there, nice and solid. And what I have done is, I've made myself plenty of cable initially. So obviously we're going to go to this one here, but I'm going to give it a small bit of slack. So if I do want to pull the connector out in case we've got a problem, it's not an issue then, and you've just got just enough slack. So I think that will be fine, you know. So I'm actually going to cut that ready there, because that is number one. And I'm just going to label that. And I seem to be missing every single thing tonight. I'm missing the pen now. But believe me, I'm going to label that up as number one. I'm going to then carry on with the rest of these wires, get them all on there. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, and then I can then get them onto the board, and then eventually get them onto each of the baseboards. So join me soon. I've also will have to make the jumper cables, so I'm going to use the same wire for those. So this should, you know, you should be able to get 6 wires into there without any issue. So yeah, but like it won't be long for you, but it'll be about 2 hours for me. So join me in 2 hours time, just like that. There we go. All of these wired. Label them 1, 2, 3. Well, I've actually labelled that one 1, 2, but that one should be 3. That one's 1, yeah. Middle 2. And that was a bit odd, because I've labelled every other one up 1, 2, 3. Not to worry, you don't really need to. So let me just adjust the camera. So the idea is just popping that in there, and then one should go. So I should have enough slack to go to 1 and then 2 and 3. So I'm going to do that now. And I've just tidied up and moved all the tools away again. So I think I need to stop tidying up. Get my soldering iron back on and get some solder as well. Took a little bit of time to wire all these, so it's taken me a long time wiring all this up this week. I've spent quite a few hours every night on this. Some nights working until 11 and 12, and this is Friday night and it's 10:30. I'm not going to get everything finished, I don't think. So I think I'm going to have to finish some of this Saturday morning. I was hoping to get it all done Friday. I've been working on this since roughly 4 o'clock from Friday until now. You know, a little bit of a break, but it's been constantly wiring. I don't think I twisted that wire very well. Right. I've only got just enough connectors to do the front ones at the moment, so I'm going to order another pack. Quite good value actually. You get 8 sockets and 8 plugs for just under £10. So, and that gives, so you can see I've got just enough slack, so that's fine. So, and then number 2, I just want to make sure I've got just enough slack there. I'm going to take the label off, don't need that anymore. It's a problem when they're all same colour. I'm going to do these properly this time, so I'll get enough wire on so I can just twist them. A load of rubbish. The iron seems to be going cold. Oh, come on. It's just... oh dear. Right. Rescue. There we go. Good enough. Last one. His wire strip has been with me for some years now. Just so useful. was from RS Supplies originally, so if you buy good tools, they do last. Right, that's one board with the connector on. The next boards have two connectors because obviously they've got one at either end as we daisy chain them up. So I'm going to get all those wired up and we'll come back in a short while. Well, short for you, a little bit longer for me again, like I said before. So but, I'm going to tidy up a little bit, get this board back on the desk. Well, I've got as far as I can. It's like late, very late now, Friday night. I've got all the cables connected. I've still got to make the jumper cables to go across. I'm still going to do the testing. I was hoping to get a lot further this week. I've spent every evening wiring this layout up. It's been taking hours. So the misery of wiring, but it's getting there. I mean, I've not even been able to test anything yet. I don't know, this board here was the worst to wire, and I need to make sure that I've got that one fully wired. So it'll be fun testing. So I'll make a video on testing it, you know, but I've just gone as far as I can this week. Sorry I can't get any trains running this week. I was hoping to, but there'll be definitely some locomotives running on this layout soon. Okay then, I wish you a very good evening, a very good rest of the day. Take care, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video.